Imagine a world without a standard time. Chaos, right? Well, that was before Greenwich Mean Time, or GMT, came into existence. In a time when each city had its own local time, the need for a universal standard became apparent. Enter GMT, a system that would bring order to the chaos. But what exactly is GMT? It's the local mean time at the Royal Observatory in Greenwich, London, counted from midnight. Not noon, not dawn, but midnight. This concept might seem simple to us today, but back then, it was revolutionary. GMT wasn't just a time standard for London or even just for the United Kingdom. It became a reference point for time zones across the entire globe. From Tokyo to New York, from Sydney to Moscow, GMT became the cornerstone of global timekeeping. And so, the world was synchronized. Clocks, once a symbol of local identity, now ticked in unison, echoing the time in Greenwich, London. A small town's local mean time had become the world standard. Yes, GMT brought order to time, and it all started at the Royal Observatory in Greenwich, London. So, how did GMT become the time standard of the world? Let's dive into its history. Greenwich Mean Time, or GMT, wasn't always as we know it today. Its calculation varied in the past, at times even counted from noon, but over time, the method of computation was harmonized for simplicity and coherence. As we trace back its roots, GMT was legally adopted in the United Kingdom in the year 1880. A significant milestone indeed. But the story doesn't end there. The adoption of GMT wasn't confined to the British Isles. It gradually spread to other regions of the world, marking a significant shift in the way we perceive and measure time. In fact, GMT became so widely accepted that it was used as a standard for navigation. Imagine sailors traversing the vast oceans, guided not just by the stars, but by the time standard set by a small observatory in Greenwich, London. The journey of GMT is a testament to its robustness and utility. It was more than just an idea or a concept, it was put into action, and in doing so, it became the backbone of global timekeeping. GMT wasn't just a concept, it was put into action and became the backbone of global timekeeping. However, like everything else, GMT evolved over time. A significant change took place in the year 1928. To avoid any confusion, universal time was introduced. This was a modified version of GMT, counted from the strike of midnight, not noon as it had been done previously. The story doesn't end there. Fast forward to 1972, another significant shift occurred. GMT was superseded by what we know today as Coordinated Universal Time, or UTC. This was not just a name change, but a more accurate and scientific approach to keep track of time. The Greenwich Meridian, the prime meridian of the world, saw a change in definition. It now became a statistical line rather than a physical one. This allowed for more precise and standardized timekeeping across the globe. While the name GMT might not be as commonly used today, its influence is far from over. Its legacy continues in the form of UTC, and it remains a key reference in the world of timekeeping. GMT may have transitioned to UTC, but its legacy remains, and it continues to be a key reference in timekeeping. So, where does GMT stand today? Well, even though we've seen the advent of Coordinated Universal Time, Greenwich Mean Time isn't just a relic of the past. It's very much alive and ticking. In the United Kingdom, the civil time used is still fondly known as Greenwich Mean Time. Of course, there are exceptions during those daylight saving periods when the clocks spring forward an hour. Meanwhile, across the airwaves, BBC radio stations regularly broadcast the Greenwich time signal. If you've ever heard those iconic 6 pips, you've heard GMT in action. It's a rhythm that's echoed through the ages, an auditory testament to the enduring legacy of GMT. And it's not just the UK that's keeping GMT in the limelight. Several countries around the globe define their local time by reference to GMT. It's like a shared language of time, an invisible thread linking different corners of the world. So, there you have it. Even in a world that has moved to Coordinated Universal Time, Greenwich Mean Time still holds its ground. And that, my friends, is the story of GMT, the time standard of the world.